In less than 24 hours, or it's said in 28 hours, more than 980,000 Russian soldiers were knocked out of action along the Pokrovsk and Mirnorod axis. What initially looked like a solid Russian advance suddenly collapsed into one of the most costly tactical failures of the year. Russian commanders believed Ukraine had reached its breaking point. Instead, they walked into a carefully prepared trap built around drones, ambush fire, and precision airstrikes. The front line changed character almost overnight. Mirnorod stopped being a simple fight for territory and became a demonstration of a new style of warfare, where a controlled retreat can inflict more damage than a frontal defense. Russia pushed both the Pokrovsk and Mirnorod axes with heavy force, leaving Ukraine little room to defend both lines simultaneously. The southern sector of Mirnorod faced constant pressure, and Russian infantry advanced block by block, attempting to widen a corridor that could link with the Pokrovsk axis and threaten Ukrainian units from behind. Ukrainian commanders closely studied the pattern of the Russian advance. As Russian elements closed outer roads and reduced distances between units, it became clear that holding the southern districts no longer served a long-term defensive purpose. A planned withdrawal to the northern line was ordered, not as a collapse, but as a calculated move. The fallback was conducted under heavy pressure. Ukrainian units moved in small groups through damaged streets, covering each other and preventing panic. Once the final teams crossed into the northern districts, the southern part of Mirnorod became almost empty. This sudden silence changed the psychology of the Russian troops. Entering the southern blocks without resistance, they assumed Ukrainian morale had broken. Assault groups spread out, advanced faster, and moved deeper without proper coordination. Spacing between units became uneven, and reconnaissance checks were minimal. What Russian commanders did not realize was that the emptiness of the streets was intentional. Ukraine assigned the 35th Marine Brigade to remain behind and control the southern escape routes. While most Ukrainian forces secured the north, the Marines prepared ambush positions inside damaged buildings and courtyards. Light obstacles were placed to guide Russian movement into narrow corridors that could be controlled by machine guns and infantry fire. The Marines remained completely silent. Russian troops advanced deeper, unaware they were entering a kill zone already mapped by Ukrainian drones. Once Russian infantry filled the narrow passages, the ambush was triggered. Heavy machine guns opened fire from multiple angles, cutting down the lead units instantly. Drone operators corrected fire in real time, guiding bursts toward groups attempting to take cover. Rear elements continued to move forward, unaware the ambush had already begun, and walked straight into the same trap. Attempts to retreat failed. Bodies and debris blocked the corridor, and Ukrainian fire controlled every possible exit. Within minutes, the eastern push collapsed entirely. On the western flank, near the Ravina rail line, Russian troops attempted to advance through a tree line for cover. Ukrainian FPV teams were already watching. Drones flew low through the forest, striking small groups one by one. Octocopters dropped charges from above, and thermal drones exposed soldiers hiding under branches and roots. The tree line turned into a continuous drone-controlled kill zone, and no Russian units managed to break through. As ground combat peaked, Ukrainian air power delivered the final blow. F-16 struck the Kapitony mine area with GBU-39 bombs, destroying a key Russian staging point for reinforcements and drone operators. Shortly after, Su-27 fighters hit another structure used to block Ukrainian withdrawal routes. These strikes cut off Russian support completely. Isolated, without drone coverage or reinforcements, Russian units inside southern Mirnorod collapsed under pressure. What looked like a Ukrainian retreat had turned into a coordinated operation, linking infantry, drones, and tactical aviation into a single timing chain. Mirnorod became one of the clearest examples of how modern warfare is changing. Control of the air, especially through drones, now decides movement on the ground. The key question is whether Russia can adapt to this reality, or whether future advances will end the same way. With pressure continuing around Pokrovsk, the lessons of Mirnorad may shape the next phase of the war.